much, John. Thanks for the practice. I just was listening. I've sat with you at Omega a few times, and I
I
was listening.
remember your face.
Oh, great. I was listening to one of the retreats, and you were talking about how emptiness and spaciousness are really synonymous. And I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit more about that, because I have been working with choiceless awareness as well as awareness of breath. And I seem to be able to go in and out of that. And you had mentioned at the retreat that was kind of not unexpected. So I was just wondering if you could just speak a little bit more about that, because I noticed today I was doing the same thing as we were meditating. And thanks very much.
Well, thank you for the question, David. But before I respond, could you clarify a little bit more when you use the word emptiness, why you're even using it or what that means to you experientially?
Right, sure.
Because otherwise I won't know quite how to answer the question so that it's not just theoretical or
Right.
conceptual.
Okay, yeah. I've been struggling with that for a long time as to what that really meant. And then when I was listening to a talk you were giving at this retreat this morning, you explained it as really synonymous with spaciousness. It's not that we're
Yes.
trying to empty our minds, it's that it's just giving that space. And that
Mm.
really actually made a lot of sense. And so I thought if I could ask you just to expound on that a little bit more.
Okay. Well, a part of the reason I started out that way is because, emptiness is a kind of technical term in various Buddhist meditative, schools and philosophies. And as I said the other day, and I think you were on for it, is that what it means is that every particle, every aspect of phenomena is empty of a kind of essential separateness, that there's nothing that's like completely itself, that everything is connected with everything else. So when we say is empty of uh, intrinsic self-nature, that means basically that it is what it is, but that means it's interconnected with everything else. Whether we're talking about a proton or an electron, or whether we're talking about a human being, or whether we're talking about an experience of profound clarity and calmness in the mind. So it's a kind of technical term, and then people get caught up about it because they want to empty their mind. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that would be a desirable thing. Let me just empty my mind, which is a complete misunderstanding. Now, as Zen master might say, your mind's already empty. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, what are you going to do with that one? Your mind is already empty. But you don't think it's empty. In fact, your direct experience is that it's full of thoughts and driving you crazy sometimes.
Right.
So the word emptiness has a lot of kind of associations and problems with it when you try to understand it with your head cognitively. Um, but this notion that awareness is spaciousness, okay, so that it can hold anything and everything, that takes you out of the problem area altogether because you don't have to think about it. You don't have to understand what all these texts are saying about the nature of emptiness. And then emptiness and compassion, for instance, would be not two, not separate. But the best way to actually conceptualize it is that emptiness means fullness, that everything is like interrelated and interconnected. And so when you touch any one aspect of experience, in awareness, you've touched every aspect of experience because awareness is the space of the mind, if you will, that's boundless, just like the universe itself. So it can hold it all. And the irony of it is that you already have that. So it's not like, or you already are that. So it's not like you have to get anything. except maybe out of your own way or dropping underneath your own attachment to the thought train that you get caught up in. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I would just stay with the experience of uh, being in awareness. And you mentioned choiceless awareness. This is Krishnamurti's term of where just like everything is coming and going. Sometimes, you know, a mirror is sometimes used as a kind of two-dimensional simile for it, that whatever comes in front of a mirror is reflected and then it goes, and the mirror doesn't run after it, it doesn't push it away, it doesn't cling to it. But this awareness is a multi-dimensional mirror. It's not 3 dimensions, it's not 4 dimensions. We really can't say how many dimensions awareness is, but it's like space. It's like boundless, and there's no center to it. And we all are, it's our, in some sense, our truest signature of being human, our truest nature. And no one knows how it arises. No neuroscientist knows how we are sentient, how we are aware. So it's a priceless, let's say, gift. And best to learn how to inhabit it in the only moment we ever could, which is this one, as opposed to putting it off or, sort of never discovering that that's a kind of place where we could take up residence and everything else, including all the stress, pain, and illness associated with this moment and with humanity and life. Uh, when you add this or learn how to inhabit this dimension of reality, it gives you a whole other uh, range of ways of responding appropriately to dukkha, to to the first noble truth, that things are not completely integrated, and we suffer for that being out of joint. And there's a way, with a capital W, you could say, that is deeply related to human awareness for liberating ourselves from that out of jointness and the suffering and anguish and pain and violence that actually come out of it when the human mind doesn't know itself. That's a long-winded answer, and I hope it didn't make for more confusion, either for you or for everybody else who's listening.
No, thank you very much. And again, thanks for this practice and for being available. This is something I look forward to every day.
I'm glad. I'm very glad to hear that, David. Be well.
You too.